All right, Jules, everybody's complaining about more games. Isn't this what the big clubs wanted, though? More games against other big clubs? Is UEFA really the bad guy here?
Both of them. It's exactly the same. That's what the big clubs wanted. And when we say big club, that doesn't mean the manager or the player. But that's what the big clubs and the directors in those big clubs wanted. UEFA. Also for them, I guess more games is better. That means more money from TV and revenues and marketing and sponsorship deal and everything you want. But Jurgen Klopp is right. Where do you play the extra 4 games per team? How? Where? This season already we've had Pep Guardiola before the first leg against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League saying UEFA and FIFA are killing the players. And he's right. This is a season with the Euros at the end where already we've had 3 games on the international break compared to 2 before. They managed to fit 3 games in 8 days, 9 days sometimes with the national team. Why? Why that 3rd game? And now you're going to tell us that as well. We're going to increase the games in the Champions League. Who thought that was a good idea? Again, I think they're right. Why are you not asking the players? Or are you asking the managers like Jurgen Klopp and you're not listening to what they respond to you? So I just think the whole thing is a shambles. But we've flagged it up for a long time now. This reform of the Champions League, saying that was not a good idea. It's just funny that now that the Super League has collapsed already, that now we can maybe talk about that reform of the Champions League.
This more in sport. All right, we'll stick to our sport. It's gone past breaking point. The word more games, more money, more injuries, all this. It's got to stop. And
you're with Gundogan here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we're just asking too much now, and you can take salaries out of the equation because it doesn't matter how much you get paid. When you lose quality over quantity, the product suffers eventually. So it's a very short-term look at stuff. But this more games Champions League, more revenue, more advertisement, better for the fans, no. More teams at the World Cup, more teams at the European Championships coming up. Everything's more. More of this, more of this, more of this. And it can't continue. It can't continue. And I think at some point, the big wigs have to sit back and take a look and say, how long will quantity over quality last before people just get utterly fed up? The public spoke this week with the Super League. And I think eventually with all this increase in games, both at international level and club level, the people paying the money for TV, for streaming, to go to the games, to travel, will just eventually say, no more. The product is getting diminished by the quantity of games being played, and we don't want to see it anymore. So I just think we're way past the breaking point.
Jules, the new format has been voted on. It's been approved. Is there any chance it could be changed now?
It's a difficult question. I think there's always a chance because Alexander Seferin and people at UEFA can say, do you know what? Let's all sit down around the table and let's see. We've heard so many voices now, and even Florentino Perez. I mean, of course he was going to say it, but he said, the current format is much better than the next one, the new one that has been voted for. So I guess maybe you can sit down and find a way of looking at the scheduling. I'm not just even talking about this new format of the Champions League. This is coming in 2024. There's plenty of time if we want to, again, to amend it. But just about the scheduling and the fixture list and our international level and domestic level with the cups. Is the League Cup, and I know we're going to talk about the final on Sunday, is the League Cup really necessary right now with how congested the seasons have been and will be next year as well after the Euros? Is it really necessary? At some point, I think leagues will have to look at the numbers. You go down from 20 clubs to 18 clubs in the Premier League, in La Liga, in Ligue 1. The Bundesliga is already down to 18 clubs. I think this is a reflection to have. I'm not saying that we should all go to 18 clubs, but this is something that they should think about it. And as well, think about this new format. Think if we really want this Swiss model with more games for everybody. Again, where are you going to play them? It's another midweek fixture, 2 more midweek fixtures probably for everybody, which again, I don't think is viable. Pep Guardiola said the other day, it's 8 months since City didn't play in midweek. 8 months where you play weekend Wednesday. I mean, then people will get injured. People, and Craig is right. The value of your product and the quality of it will decrease massively.
Well, just quickly before we go, you know what's going to happen, and it's already happening now, big time, but it's going to get worse. His managers are just going to play the most weakened teams in some of these competitions that you could believe. And so if you turn up and you've paid your money, and hopefully we'll have crowds back in, well, we should have. We'll have crowds back in by 2024. But I mean, as a generalisation, when managers continually play weakened teams now, and people have already paid good money for season books, or you turn up and you pay, it's just not going to last, I'm afraid. And I don't blame the managers for doing it.
Yeah.
Because they have to, and they got to
prioritize.
Stevie's coach, he knows sometimes you got to worry about the next couple of games, you got to worry about your star players, so you have to make decisions.
Let's get another perspective here. Archie Rhind-Tutt joins us from Germany. Archie, it seemed like in Germany they just never really engaged with the idea of the Super League. What are they saying now about the new Champions League format?
It's echoing what İlkay Gündoğan was saying, and such is the way that fans protest here for what they want. I think it's been encouraging to see what's been happening, particularly in England. I think that a few eyebrows have been raised at just how vociferous the protests have been over in England. I think as well, there's a point worth making here that for the first time, we've seen the football bubble threaten to break, which before it's always been more and more and more. But now those bigwigs have been told, no, actually it stops here. And I think one of the biggest questions that we have to ask now is what happens next? How are fans going to feel emboldened by this? In Germany, we continually see fan protests against this new Champions League format on Borussia Dortmund's yellow wall. We saw 2 big banners. It's going to continually be protested here. They're not keen on it. Seb, Bayern Munich are playing their 47th game of the season tomorrow in 219 days. Usually, when they reach the 47-game mark in a season, it's around 260 days. So let's not be surprised that the quality has diminished this season. The fact that Robert Lewandowski, on course for a record-breaking season, gets injured. All the big players at Bayern Munich have at least had a period out this season. And that is telling you something about what is flawed with this current model.
Stevie, we asking too much of the players?
100%. And the one we've heard so many voices, but there's one voice we haven't heard. Well, where are these players' associations? Now, the PFA, particularly in England, I don't know about the rest of Europe, but the one in England is, you talk about having strength. What are they doing? Why are they not speaking to their players? And why are all the other associations around the world, why are they not speaking to the players? Because without the players, then they can't have the Super League or any other league. So what are they doing? I mean, we hear players complaining on social media about having too many games and too much of this. Well, guess what? How about you go to your association and do something about it? You know, they speak as though they can't do anything. Well, they can.
Jules, does the players'
they can
unions
talk
have a role here?
with their feet and don't play. So, you know, for 100 years, everybody's been saying it was too many. Well, it's about time they did something. Don't complain about it. Do something about it, or shut up and play.
Jules, what about the associations, the unions? Do they have a role to play here?
I think Stevie is spot on, and I think this is a big issue. I mean, FIFPro, they're nice people, but they're far too weak to represent, and maybe it's impossible to represent all the players, like this worldwide, almost like FIFPro is trying to do. They're too weak. They're not heard. So then you go down to domestic unions, and the PFA for many years now have been embroiled into an internal war on who should be the head of the PFA, and Gordon Taylor and etc. This is not working. In France, the UNFP, very similar, not taking seriously enough. In Germany, I don't know, Archie can help us, but the problem is those unions don't have a voice compared to other industries or sector of work where they're far more powerful and certainly far more heard and respected. It's not the case in football. I don't know why. Maybe the players should do more themselves and make their union stronger. But right now, they should be far stronger than what they are, and that would help massively in this debate about are the players playing too much, what can they do, what can be the response coming from them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.